Hello, you beautiful people. How are you? And in this video, I'm going to teach you the good, the bad, and the ugly, and the poop that is whoop. So, if you've seen some previous videos, I briefly spoke about whoop, which is basically a health tracking, sleep tracking service. You wear it on your wrist, and it tells you how you sleep, your heart rate variability, and what habits you can change in order to better your health, right? Well, I've been using the service for well over 6 months. And at first, I really liked it. But I got some beefs with it, and I actually parted ways and broke up with Whoop. And honestly, Whoop is poop. So I'm going to give you the biggest beefs that I had, the things that I did like, and the things that I really despised from the company. So let's jump into the good just to get that out of the way. The biggest thing that I liked about Whoop was the ability to become an alarm, right? You wear the device on your wrist and you go on the app on your phone. You can physically see how many hours you're going to sleep if you wake up at this time or if you wake up at that time. And you can really curate your bedtime. So that was a cool feature that I really liked. When you set your alarm, it vibrates. There's no sound. There's no abrupt light in your face. It subtly wakes you up. You smack it, and then you go about your day, right? Now, that's a little bit of a beef that I had because literally to turn the thing off, they say you just tap it and it will shut off. No, that's BS. After a couple months, I literally had to smack my wrist to turn off the alarm. So that was a beef, but I dealt with it, right? But the alarm feature was awesome because I use a vibrating kind of watch wrist alarm before Whoop. And that became a really nice way of waking up. But the problem with that service was it was an old analog 3-button watch that was a pain to set up. If I had to say a positive, it would be that aspect. Now, that's about all I can really say, other than maybe another positive would be the heart rate variability aspect of Whoop. Long ago, I used to track heart rate variability for many years before it became popular. And back in the day, I had to get a chest strap that you'd normally wear for running. You have to wet it. You have to put it underneath your sternum. You had to connect it to a really chintzy app, because you're talking like over 6 years ago, right? And the technology wasn't that great then. But it was good enough to at least find what your heart rate variability was and gauge how you would train that day. And that's kind of the biggest thing that they push with Whoop. So by having previous experience of the hard way of finding heart rate variability, I was like, oh, cool. Well, this will be awesome because they have this service. It goes on your wrist. It'll be like seamless, right? And it worked pretty good for the most part. I didn't really have too many big complaints. So for like reading heart rate variability, I'll give them a plus on that. Now, here's the stuff I really didn't like. I'm going to say some of the features were really bad. Like the strain feature was just dog shit. As much as they say it's good, it's accurate, I don't believe it. I've been training for many, many years. I know the difference between a very intense hard workout and easier workouts. And there's times where when I tracked a workout and Whoop calculated it, it would say, oh, no, it was a medium effort and your strain is only affected this much. I'm like, get the hell out of here. And then oftentimes when it would calculate your sleep and your heart rate variability and give you a number of what kind of strain you can have that day, it was just very all over the place. And I have a very consistent schedule, so I knew that something was up. And you could look at many other YouTube videos where people kind of complain about the same thing. It's not really the best metric, And that's one thing that really I didn't care for. Now, I overlooked that aspect because I was like, you know what, it's not a big deal. I could live without that. But Insight asked the journaling aspects that are part of Whoop was getting really repetitive. So if you're not aware, when you have the app, every day you wake up, you do this journal where you have some prompts. You say yes or no. Of if you drank alcohol, did you have sex? Did you smoke tobacco? Did you drink? How many cups of caffeine, water, bop, 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 bop. And you can curate it to what works best for you. So the problem is, if you have a pretty consistent schedule, you can learn all these things within a short period of time of what's good, what's bad, and what you don't need. And obviously, how many times do you need to know that you drink alcohol, it affects your heart rate variability? Then you learn alcohol bad, sleep and normal heart rate variability good. The insight gets kind of pointless after a while. So that was like one aspect I didn't like. But then the other was it would really have these weird things with the insights. So for an example, it would say that red light therapy was negative for my recovery and that viewing a screen device like this thing before bed was good for my recovery, which makes zero sense at all. And from my experience, looking at a blue light from a screen, whether it's a computer, whether it's a phone or tablet, has always hurt my sleep and my recovery. But the app said it was good. And then other stupid things like saying turmeric is bad for my recovery. Like, it didn't add up and it didn't make sense. So the journaling aspect and the insights, it got old, it got redundant, and it got more or less just pointless, right? Now, the last thing with the feature that I really didn't like is that they didn't have an airplane mode. So you have this device on your wrist all the time, right? And you cannot stop it from emitting Bluetooth signal or EMF. And I'm not vibing with that. I'm not into that. I keep my phone away from me when I sleep. I keep electronics away from me when I sleep. So why would I keep something on my wrist that, depending on whichever way I sleep, is going to be by my noggin? Doesn't make sense. So that was a feature that I wish they had, but they don't. And after a while, it starts to kind of rub off on you because you're like, this is a weird feeling always having this thing on me. Which bleeds into the next beef that I had, that the company itself really holds strong the mantra of 24/7, always on, right? And at first I got it. It's like, yeah, you always got to have it on to read your metrics and get these insights and, be accurate. But after a while, when you have this blocky rectangular thing on your wrist for 24/7 for 6 months straight, you feel like you're an inmate, like you're under house arrest and you have an ankle monitor on you. It's not cool. It's uncomfortable and it's not fun. So just that aspect where, like, God forbid if you take it off, the app starts giving you notifications. Oh, Whoop is off your body. Put it back on. Your Whoop isn't on. Oh my God. And I did some experiments where I did take it off and just like wear it when I slept, took it off when I woke up, kind of had a normal morning, put it back on, took it off, and it just screwed my metrics up within like one day. And that really rubbed me the wrong way because having experience in the past where I had a device that, even though it was rudimentary, but still worked, where I can read my heart rate variability and do it once in a day. Like having that comparison where you have that old device that I use and then this newer device, you think it would still be able to monitor things or calculate things properly, where if I don't wear it for a couple hours, it's not going to screw up all my metrics. So that was the beef that I had, was the always on aspect, and I just got tired of it. Finally, the biggest thing that I really despise from the company that will make me not go back to the company is the monthly payment and basically forcing you into a contract. They do make it in bigger print, and people say, oh, well, you didn't read the fine print. They say it right on the website that you have to commit for 12 months, and that's your dumb fault, right? So I get people saying that, but it's really, at first, I was like, okay, I'll commit for 12 months, use this, and I started to like it. I was like, okay, cool. I'll bite the bullet and pay the $32 a month consistently and see how it goes. But after a while, when you start to dislike the service, you dislike the customer support, and dislike the aspects of the device, it sucks to be locked into something that when you want to cancel, you have to pay the remaining balance to be able to get out of it. And for somebody that in these modern times, you have to be very aware of your budget. And if you got to cut things out, hey man, you got to cut things out. That's the way things are today. I got to do it. Other people got to do it. And it makes sense. And I wasn't happy with the service. So why would I pay $32 a month for a service I didn't even care for anymore? That was the biggest thing that rubbed me the wrong way, is being kind of thrown into thinking this device is going to be so great. They give you 30 days free for the first month, which, just a preface, none of your insights, none of your metrics are fully developed within that 30 days. So like you get the rhythm of the like how to use it, and you're like, yeah, this could work. I guess I'll go for the extra, 30 days are up. Let me just keep going forward, right? And you fall into that because you can't get more information unless you go past those 30 days. So they kind of like hook you, and then you're stuck because now you're forced to pay the $32 a month for 12 months. And, let's just do some quick math. Basically, $384 within 12-month period. And that's if they don't get you with buying different bands and things like that, which they're bands to change the colors or just upgrade them. For the basic one, $45 to $50 for a knit band. Come on, give me a break. That's just like kicking somebody when they're down, right? So I didn't like the payment aspect, and I didn't like the kind of sleaziness of it. Because, okay, say if I stuck with the 12 months and paying the $384, that's money that's gone. I'm never going to get that money back again. And by the end of it, if I want to cancel, well, guess what? I don't own anything. I might own the stupid device, but I can't get my data now because I canceled my service. I can't use it anymore. So it's basically this useless thing that unless I jump into this subscription, I can keep using, right? And how often in life does that really happen? Like, say, for example, if I use that same amount of money to buy a nice Garmin watch or a nice Apple Watch, the benefit there is I have the device, I own the device, and I can use it whenever. So even if I don't have a subscription, if they had one, I can still use the service or use the device and get benefit from it. And it has a resale value. The problem with Whoop, it ain't worth poop. Trust me. I had mine. I sold it on eBay for like barely anything just to get some money back from canceling my subscription. And it sucked, It took a big hit because that was a lot of money to put out in something that had zero resale value. And right now, this is just an example, I'm trying Oura Ring. At least with Oura Ring, you can go on eBay and find them relatively for like a good price. And they have a resale value. Not as good as probably an Apple device or a Garmin device, but there's still a resale value there. And if you don't pay the subscription, you can still use the service. So I did make a switch, but the paywall and not being able to access your data was just a huge turnoff for me. So those are the pros, those are the cons, my experience with it. If you are on the fence, I would definitely do your research and look into other types of trackers. I mean, if you are not a person that wears watches often, like I am, then maybe a Garmin device or an Apple Watch will work out great for you. But if you are a person who likes that no screen kind of sleeker fitness tracker, well, maybe look into the types of ring devices like Ultrahuman or Aura, and maybe those would work for you. If you really like the wristband aspect, I would hold off and wait, because a lot of companies are seeing the trend now with these non-screened health trackers. And I really believe that not too far in the future, Garmin, Apple, Polaris, or Polar, I think is the company, will come out with wristband type devices or ring devices that will track your health metrics. And the benefit with those companies are usually they don't have subscription paywalls, and or they have good resale value. So if you are patient and want to wait, I would say go that option. And if you want to try like a ring device like an Aura or Ultrahuman, but your budget's tight, definitely go on Poshmark and definitely go on eBay. Literally, I found this one. It was an open box Aura ring. Luckily enough, my size. I got big fingers. And I got it really cheap, like almost $200 cheaper than if I bought it new at Best Buy. So fish around. You might get lucky. Times are tough and people are getting rid of things that they don't want. So try it out. I hope this video gave you some great insight. If you like the channel or would like to see other videos I create, please go to the end screen, click my lovely face to subscribe, and you could see some other related videos at the end. Hope you guys take care of yourselves. Love you, and see you in the next one. Bye-bye.